the biggest Bitcoin news story of 2021 and perhaps really ever is even bigger than we thought it was. So the El Salvador story, that is that El Salvador is making Bitcoin into legal tender in the country, has progressed forward. The president has now introduced the bill into parliament, and it is just crazy. So in this video, I'm going to break down that bill for you and why it is such an incredibly big deal. What is happening? This is the spark that could start an inferno worldwide for Bitcoin adoption. My name's Lark. Every day I make videos talking about cryptocurrency investing. So if that is a topic you'd like to learn some more about, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Gently tap on the thumbs up button just for the YouTube algorithm. YouTube loves that stuff. And of course, click on the notification bell to know when I put out a new video. So let's go ahead and turn over to the charts. Okay, so taking a look at the charts here. And you know what? It just looks rubbish. I don't even want to talk about this today. We have such exciting news. I don't want to be a downer by looking at these, pretty rough looking Bitcoin charts right now. Come on, Bitcoin. All this exciting news happening, and that's how you react. Get it together, man. Bitcoin, man. Bitcoin. Anyway, let's just go straight into the news here. So this is the Twitter account of the president of El Salvador. He said, I've just sent the Bitcoin law to Congress. Now you can come over here and read through the entire bill. This is the English translation of it, so you can come and check that out. I'm going to break down the most important points for you in this video because it is a really, really big deal what is happening for this bill. And it's absolutely crazy. I'm super excited about this. I mean, Bitcoin is about to become fully legal tender in a sovereign freaking nation, a country level adoption is happening for Bitcoin. Heck, I thought I made a video a while ago talking about my predictions for Bitcoin for the year. I thought it was going to be a big deal if just a central bank started buying Bitcoin, adding it to their reserves. But this is a country going just all in on Bitcoin. This is massive. It's literally going to be legal currency in the country. And a lot of people have been saying, of course, Lark, don't get too excited yet. Like literally this guy right here. Don't get too excited, Lark. Don't get too excited. So the president of El Salvador, his party currently controls the parliament. Now they control 75% of the seats, so approximately anyway, 60 out of the 84 seats in the El Salvadorian parliament are controlled either directly by his party or by support parties. Support parties hold about 7 seats or something like that. So what would need to happen is for a quarter of his party to defect from the party, and that's a pretty big deal in parliamentary politics. So they would actually need to say, look, we don't agree with this and we're out, basically. It would be massive if that happened. I really do not see that happening. They've got full control of the legislative body and of the executive body. This is highly, highly likely to pass. I would actually be pretty damn surprised if it didn't pass. And hey, I'm willing to be surprised. Life throws surprises at me all of the time. But I'm pretty sure this bill is going to pass with them having such a strong command of the parliament in terms of numbers of elected representatives actually there who are of the same freaking party, and parties tend to fall in line on this kind of legislation. So obviously, yes, we need to see it pass, but I'm fairly certain it's going to pass. I think they'd be crazy to defect from their party in order to try to make a point about Bitcoin. I think it's going to pass. So let's just keep an eye on that, obviously, but hopefully we should know in the next few days if it has passed or not. But man, it is a big, big deal. Now, some takeaways from this bill. I think these are the most important ones. Again, go and check out his Twitter profile. You can read the English translation of the entire bill, but here we go. Bitcoin must be accepted by merchants if offered for payment. So if you walk into a store, no longer do you need to even look for the Bitcoin accepted here sign. You can just walk in and say, I'm going to pay with Bitcoin. In the same way, you can walk into that store and say, I'm going to pay with dollars. Because remember, El Salvador is a US dollar-based economy. So that is insane news. Now, they did make one exemption that if technically possible. So if you imagine you're going to go buy some watermelons off of the old grandpa down at the market who doesn't have a phone and who's never used the internet, that guy doesn't have to accept Bitcoin from you. There are, of course, exemptions here, but when reasonably possible, when reasonably feasible, then the merchants must accept Bitcoin. They can't say, no, I'm sorry, we don't accept Bitcoin here. If they have a mobile phone, they can accept Bitcoin. So that is incredibly big. Merchants have to accept it. Massive, absolutely massive that. There will also be no capital gains taxes on Bitcoin, which that has been a massive, massive problem for example, for the United States. Nobody wants to spend their Bitcoin because as soon as you go out to spend your Bitcoin, it is a taxable event and you have to pay those capital gains taxes. And of course, you have to account for it. So if you go out and you spend $50 worth of Bitcoin, well, not only did you pay your state tax, your local tax, your federal tax, whatever, all those different taxes, now you're also paying capital gains taxes on that. So it's a big hindrance and also a big accounting nightmare for a lot of people. So no capital gains taxes for Bitcoin payments in El Salvador. Massive. Bitcoin can also be used as a unit of account. Obviously, very, very big as well. We're going to dive into that more in just a second. Taxes can also be paid in Bitcoin. That's obviously incredibly important because one of the biggest functions a lot of people bring up for money in terms of the legitimacy of money is, well, can your taxes be paid in this? Look, we've seen a few different states and localities, you know, cantons in Switzerland or whatever, that have said, yeah, you can pay your taxes here using Bitcoin. This is an entire country saying we accept Bitcoin for taxes. Also a pretty damn big deal. By the way, if you want to buy yourself some Bitcoin, get yourself an account over on Binance. Definitely the best place to buy, sell, trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polygon, whatever cryptocurrencies you might want to get your hands on. Use the link down below in the description. You get a 10% discount on your fees and up to $700 in bonuses. And if you're in the USA, well, you can't use Binance, but I definitely recommend Kraken. It is an excellent exchange, a fantastic variant for all of the US people out there in the audience. Now, no longer in El Salvador can anyone say, sorry, we don't accept Bitcoin here. The legal tender aspect of this, and we covered with the video the other day where Caitlin Long was saying that also this then becomes a major international issue, because if El Salvador has Bitcoin as legal tender, then other countries also then have to fall in line, because that then becomes the sovereign money of El Salvador. Big, big deal. This is a legal requirement stuff that we're talking about here. So it goes above and beyond just, oh, I don't really feel like it. Like, no, you're legally required to accept that as payment. Now, the unit of account, I think this is incredible that they've included this in the bill. So this would mean, as my example here, you go into a bar in El Salvador and you say, hey, I want to have a beer. And they say, yep, sure, that's 15,000 Satoshis. Because now businesses in El Salvador are allowed to use Bitcoin as a unit of account. So they're allowed to price things in Bitcoin. That is an incredible revolution in terms of adoption, because this is one of the biggest barriers, I think, for a global Bitcoin standard to really take off, is seeing Bitcoin become a unit of account. You know, Bitcoin is already a store of value, right? One Bitcoin is one Bitcoin. And yeah, I know it's a very volatile store of value, but it's still a store of value. Bitcoin is also a medium of exchange. You can use it to buy and sell things already. This takes it obviously to the next level. But the unit of account, that is one that has really evaded Bitcoin. It has not been used as a unit of account in any serious way. I mean, Ethereum, for example, is being used as a unit of account right now in the NFT marketplaces and in different decentralized finance protocols. But Bitcoin had really struggled on the unit of account part. But this means that an entire country can now start using Bitcoin as a unit of account. Massive, massive. I've said for a long time, this is one of the biggest things in terms of actual adoption of a global Bitcoin standard that we need to see, is that, you know, a legal precedent being set here that Bitcoin can be used as a unit of account. That's incredibly, incredibly exciting. Also, shout out to the Lightning Network. I have been critical of the Lightning Network for a while because of its lack of adoption, because it had a bad product fit, because most of the speculators or the Gold 2.0 narrative Bitcoin users, they don't want to spend their Bitcoin, right? They buy it, they hodl it, number go up. That's what they do with it, long-term store of value. But what we're going to see happen with the El Salvador story is people actually using Bitcoin for payments. And look, it remains to be seen how adopted this is actually going to be within El Salvador. You need actually people to start adopting this. And we have had some test cases in El Salvador, like the village of El Zante that has been using Bitcoin, particularly the Bitcoin Lightning Network via the Strike app for a while now. So, you know, we're not without precedent here. People will use it for payments because this is a revolution for people, because now they actually have banking services without the bank. This is a big deal for people in El Salvador. 70% of the country does not have access to banking services, but 146% of the population have mobile phones. It is a country ripe for this kind of disruption. Now, of course, we have to talk about the big game, the global chessboard. I wrote on Twitter, now let's see if Captain Freedom decides that El Salvador needs some good old-fashioned freedom, democracy, and regime change for challenging US dollar hegemony with Bitcoin. That is a big deal because we've seen the US dollar being defended at the point of a gun many times. I hope that does not happen in El Salvador, but you have to keep in mind, this is a big deal what's happening. They're adopting a decentralized cryptocurrency as legal tender for a sovereign nation, which also has massive international implications way beyond the borders of little old El Salvador. This then becomes a real issue. I mean, you saw President Trump, or ex-President Trump, the other day saying that Bitcoin is a scam because it challenges US dollar supremacy. The dollar must reign supreme, and any challenge to that tends to be attacked. So I really hope that that doesn't happen, but you have to realize the political implications of what is happening here. It's a big, big deal, and there's a lot of power on the line here in terms of the power of the US dollar and it remaining the dominant global currency. You may think that, oh, well, it's just little old Salvador. Who's going to spend time trying to do something there? Well, look at history. Anytime this kind of stuff happens, somebody takes the effort, because a little bit of light in the darkness can very quickly spread. A spark can become an inferno. And this is exactly what you do not want to see if you are the controller of the current globally dominant currency. So it's an interesting aspect for you to think about here. Now what I want to see. So in the last few days, we've had Panamanian politicians saying, actually, what El Salvador is doing, we're going to consider doing the same thing. Please, Panama, do that. It would be absolutely amazing. Panama is also a country stuck on the US dollar. So it'd be really great for them to de-dollarize and to look at implementing Bitcoin in the exact way that El Salvador is. Mexican politicians have come out signaling that they want to push forward some more cryptocurrency adoption within the country, and Argentinian politicians come forward and signaled interest in what's going on in El Salvador. Brazilian politicians as well. Paraguay, probably one of the countries that's said the most in terms of wanting to see some kind of adoption happening for Bitcoin within their country. It just takes one country, one person to stand up and say, hey, we're tired of US dollar hegemony here. We want another option. We want to be in control of our money. They're choosing Bitcoin. It's an absolutely incredible thing to see happening. So your question for today, which country do you think is going to make a move to make Bitcoin into a legal tender next? Is it going to be one of the South American countries? Maybe it's going to be Panama. They seem pretty interested. Maybe it's going to be Paraguay. Paraguay seems pretty interested. Maybe we're going to skip over to Africa and we're going to see a country over there taking interest in this and potentially moving in that direction. Maybe Zimbabwe is finally going to say, hey, you know what? Let's just use some Bitcoin here. Maybe it'll be a European country who's going to look at El Salvador and go, man, we are missing out. Maybe Switzerland's going to go, you know, we really need to step up our Bitcoin game here because we are being outmaneuvered by a small Central American country, and that's just not going to fly. Curious to know your answer down below in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.